Hey guys, Tina here and welcome to another video. Today I will be wrapping up my first week of one readathon to rule them all, and I'm going to talk about the books that I managed to read during that week. For those of you who do not know, this is a 2 weeks long fantasy reading readathon that has been taking place since last week, and it's gonna, I think, wrap up on Saturday, I think. Anyways, I made this huge TBR and I'm gonna link the video up here so you can go check it out. And I'm actually doing pretty well. I have definitely read more in the last week than I did, I think, in the whole month of April, so that is good. And yeah, anyways, let's get to the books. And the first book that I actually finished last week was An Old Debt, a book that I started at the beginning of April and I just didn't finish it, and that is Geekerella by Ashley Poston. I received an ARC copy from the publisher via NetGalley. The paperback version of this book just released, so they were kind enough to give me an ARC so I could read it. I think this was a book that was really popular last year, which is, I think, when it came out originally, and it's basically a young adult retelling of Cinderella. It's a contemporary book for those of you who love those, and it tells the story of Elle. She lives with her stepmother and her stepsisters in what used to be her father's house. He died years ago and now she's basically trapped in this situation, and her stepmother uses her for just about everything, for cooking, cleaning. She has to work and basically just listen to her stepmother complain all the time, and Elle feels sort of trapped in that situation, but she doesn't see a way out as of right now. And she also works in this food truck, and her well, never mind that. And her co-worker is sort of this girl that's not really popular. People keep telling Elle not to hang out with her, that she's problematic and all that, and yeah, they slowly connect, and Elle, gets a friend, and I'm sorry again. But anyways, then we also follow, I think his name is Darian. I'm really bad with names. I think that's what was his name. And he is an actor, and he's this big soap star, and he wants to make it, big on the big screen. So he was just cast as the lead in what is a remake of this very popular TV series, sci-fi TV series that I think it's sort of based off of Firefly. So it's not a huge series, it was not long lasting, but it has this huge fan base, and of course there are fans complaining about that fact, and we follow him through the filming and just everyday life, what that means for him and how he deals with all of that. And all in all, this book felt very average to me because, well, I didn't really like the characters. The story was, pretty average as far as that goes. And, I'm not the target audience again. So, I could not really connect that well to the characters, obviously. But I did appreciate some stuff, and especially this feeling of being trapped in a situation, because that is something that we all can relate no matter our age. And yes, as a teenager you feel trapped for some reasons, and as an adult for different, but still you get that feeling sometimes maybe, and you don't know how to get out of that. And what I even liked more about this book is actually how fandom was portrayed, because I think that's the thing that Ashley Poston did really well. We all know how it was when, I don't know, actors for Twilight were cast, or, how people are, whether it's a fandom based off of books or a TV show. There's a lot of complaining, and it was interesting seeing how, you see a fan's perspective and you also see an actor's perspective, how he feels, or, how she would feel with all the backlash that they get because of the fact that they're cast as a character, a very popular character and all that. So I think that was done really well. All in all, as I said, it's an average read. It's a fun read. It's a quick read. So if you're looking for that, definitely pick this book up. But what I appreciate most about it was these two aspects. And yeah, moving on. The next book was actually on my TBR, and that was The Fifth Season by A.K. Jemisin. In my attempt to read a book with 1,000 pages or more, which I failed to find, or at least one that I would like to read, I decided to actually read this whole trilogy, and I'm doing well so far. I only have one book left to read. But yeah, this was a book, series that I have been hearing constantly about. People have been raving about it, and I've had it for a while, so I thought it was a good time to actually read it. And this I would classify as, well, a dystopian, not so much a fantasy, although there's some magical aspects in it, but it feels more dystopian than actually fantasy. And it's based in this world that feels like Earth in the future. There are also some references to the past that feel like that was Earth, so I'm not exactly sure, but I think that that's the case. And this planet is going through different seasons, and there's acid season, there's, I don't know, different seasons that sort of are classified because of certain events that sort of are usual for the season. And now we are moving into the 5th season, which is a season of catastrophes. There's volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, there's ash in the air, and basically blocking away the sun. So people are preparing that there's going to be a lot of death and a lot of chaos and all that. And we follow, I think it's 3 different point of views in this first book. 3 women that are in different stages of their life, and through their eyes we learn about how the world came to be this way, and what the world is actually like, what this chaos is like that they're living. And this is also a very diverse society. Sexuality, race don't matter, but it's not as open-minded as one would think. There are definitely groups of people that are shunned and deemed as dangerous, and one of those groups is definitely Origins, who are people that are able to perform orogeny, which is basically they can control the earth, they can cause earthquakes, and they can also calm them down, I guess. And regular people see them as dangerous and a menace to society. Basically, they are portrayed as being unable to control their powers, so they have to be controlled, sort of, and always be under watchful eyes. And a lot of these people end up in fulcrums, which are these institutions that teach them how to control their powers, but they also give them guardians. And guardians are sort of people, again, that are for reasons immune to these powers and can basically kill an orogeny if that is original, if that is origin, if that is necessary. So it's not that an open-minded society in some cases. And anyways, I sort of didn't love this book. It was an okay read, but it didn't really pull me in at no point except towards maybe the last third. That was when I really started to fall for it. And the writing was okay, but mostly it felt like a setup. I didn't find it interesting. There was a lot of moving around, but I felt like nothing was happening. We get to learn a lot about how the world came to be the way it was, and we do get some answers, of course. But there's also a lot of information that we're still missing, and I just found it not enough. And I watched one YouTuber, I think it was Brian O'Connor, who said that this felt like a prequel to the Obelisk Gate, which follows it. And I have to sort of agree, because I think that this information could have been given differently, so I don't know, so I would find it more engaging, I guess. But as you know, it's a very popular book, so don't my opinion hold you back from picking these books up. And of course, next I did pick up then the Obelisk Gate. I really enjoyed Obelisk Gate a lot more than 5th season. I felt that things were finally happening in this one. We were getting more answers. We were learning more about the world, how it came to be this way again, and how things can change with people using orogeny, what they can do, how they can affect the current situation, situation that they're in. And I really liked that a lot. Our characters, we still follow multiple POVs. We have different characters again. We basically know all of them from the previous book, but there's a bit of a time jump from the 5th season to this one, so they have changed a bit again because their situations are different, and that has affected them, and they see things differently. They have grown, and it was just a lot more interesting, I have to say. I liked it a lot more, and there's more action, there's more, I just know, interesting stuff happening that I really liked. And it's also again, interesting because we do follow, again, multiple characters, how they're affected by the same things, but they feel it differently, and also what they learn, they comprehend differently from one another based off, again, on the age and the situation they're in and all that. So I really love that, and I'm really looking forward to reading The Stone Sky because, I don't know, I just want to see how this ends. Yeah, and I do recommend these books despite the bumpy start that I had. So the last book that I managed to finish last week was Binti by Nadia Okorafor, which is book 1 in the, I don't know, Binti trilogy of novellas. I'm not sure what they're called. But anyways, this is the shortest of the bunch, and it tells the story of Binti. She is a girl that is part of this, I'm not sure if it's a tribe or a group, whatever, I'm not sure what it is actually, but she's part of this smallish group of people that none of her people have ever gone to this university, but Binti really wants to go, and she receives a lot of backlash from her family and friends because they don't think that that's her purpose in life. They don't see the point of her going because her path is different, or at least that's how they see it. And despite that, she finds the courage to go, and as she steps into this wide unknown world, she's also faced with other people's prejudices because her people are sort of shunned by others. They are culturally so different, and others don't really like them. They see them as something beneath them. So she has to face that, and because of that, I think, well, no, I'm going to talk about it later. And as she goes on this path, she also stumbles into a warlike situation that she has to deal with. And throughout it all, she's really strong, and I really like that about her. What I liked most about this novella is the fact that Binti, as I said, she's a strong character. She's facing all of these new things and unpleasant situations in some way. And because of that, she understandably holds very tightly to her culture. She is afraid of losing that because that is more or less the only thing that's familiar and that is connecting her to home. And as the story progresses, she's more and more willing to well, not to give that up necessarily, but let it go a little bit, but not in the sense of losing it, just because she is changing. She realizes that she doesn't need to hold on to it that strongly. That's how I interpreted her situation anyways. Other aspects of the book, I have to say, I found ridiculous. These Medusa creatures, they were just, I could not take them seriously, I'm sorry. So it was a hit and miss, this one for me, and as I said in my vlog that I posted, I'm not sure if I'm gonna actually finish this trilogy. I'm definitely picking up the next book because I own it, but after that, I guess I'll see how fascinating book 2 will be. But all in all, it definitely had its pluses, and it also had its minuses, I guess. So yeah, I'm, you know, not sure how to say it differently anyways. So yeah, so basically those were all the books that I managed to read last week. I'm very happy, as I said, with the amount and well, even with the quality, you know, even though I didn't enjoy them that much, you know, I was not thrilled and I was not giving 5 stars away, but that doesn't matter. It's still, I read more than I did in a long time, so I did like that. And yeah, now I'm going back to filming the vlog so I can post that at the end of next week, well, this week actually, and then hopefully you will see another wrap up next week because I hope to read more books, I guess. And until next time, thank you for watching this video and see you, bye!